Okay, so are you ready for a deep dive that's going to unlock some childhood memories? We're exploring 50 journal prompts for kindergarten children.
Yeah.
And before you jump to conclusions,
Right.
trust me, this is surprisingly insightful. We're
Yeah.
talking about tapping into your inner child and reigniting that sense of wonder we often just lose as adults.
Yeah, you're right. Might seem odd,
Right.
but there's a real depth here, you know. We all know journaling is beneficial, but these prompts go beyond self-reflection. They capture that raw, unfiltered way kids see the world, a perspective that can be incredibly valuable for us grown-ups to revisit.
I know, right? It's like when I saw the section titles, Kindergarten Discoveries, Kindergarten Adventures.
Yeah.
I mean, do you remember the last time you thought of your day-to-day life as an adventure?
It's a refreshing shift in perspective. Kids that age, they haven't learned to overthink things. Everything is new and exciting.
Yeah.
Take the prompt, what makes you feel safe at kindergarten?
Ooh.
Such a simple question.
Right.
But for a 5-year-old, that's huge.
It is. And that's what I love about these prompts. They might seem basic on the surface, but they tap into these core emotional needs we all have, regardless of age.
Right.
We're talking about safety, aspirations, facing fears.
Exactly. Universal themes often overlooked.
Right.
And the beauty is by revisiting these prompts as adults, we're given a chance to reconnect with those core parts of ourselves, like a little nudge to remember what truly matters.
Okay, so you're saying these aren't just about crayons and show and tell. I have to admit I was a little skeptical at first.
Oh, absolutely not. Let's take the prompt, if you could fly. It's genius. It speaks to that innate desire for freedom, for breaking boundaries. And notice it doesn't specify how or where. It's all about sparking the imagination.
That's so true, and it makes you wonder, when did we stop letting ourselves dream like that? When did flying become a metaphor instead of a possibility? Okay, another one that really struck me was draw something that scared you.
That one is powerful.
Yeah.
Think about it. A kindergartner giving shape and color to their fears. It's externalizing those emotions, processing them in a tangible way.
It's interesting, right? As adults, we often try to ignore our fears or rationalize them away. It encourages a different kind of engagement, a direct confrontation in a safe space, even if it's just through a drawing.
Exactly, and that's something we often lose as we grow up. We're so busy trying to be logical to compartmentalize that we forget the power of simply feeling our emotions. These prompts, they remind us it's okay to be vulnerable, to embrace the full spectrum of human experience.
You know, it's funny, we talk about these prompts being simple, but they're actually really sophisticated in their own way, aren't they?
Absolutely. They're deceptively profound. And one aspect that I find particularly interesting is the repeated emphasis on visual thinking. Draw a picture. Can you draw? It's a constant thread throughout.
Right. So they're onto something with that, even for the kids who are already writing.
They are. See, visual thinking isn't just about art. It's about engaging a different part of your brain. It can help with problem solving, with memory, with emotional processing.
That's like speaking a different language, but instead of words, it's images and colors.
Precisely. And what's fascinating is that young children, they're incredibly visually oriented. Think about how they experience the world. Through their senses, absorbing all these sights, shapes, colors.
And somewhere along the line, we start to prioritize words and logic, and we lose some of that visual fluency. It's like those muscles get a little weak from underuse.
That's a great way to put it. These prompts, they're like a playful nudge to reawaken that visual intelligence, regardless of whether we consider ourselves artistic or not.
It's like those brain games they tell you to do as you get older, but way more fun.
Yeah.
You know, another thing that struck me as we were going through these prompts is how they subtly weave in themes of kindness and empathy.
Oh, absolutely. Who did you help today and how did you help? That's prompting kids to think outside themselves, to recognize their impact on others.
It's so simple, but so powerful. And it made me think about how important those early lessons in kindness are, not just for kids, but for all of us.
It's true. In our busy adult lives, we can get so caught up in our own to-do lists and deadlines that we forget to look up and see the needs of others.
And even small gestures can make a big difference. Smiling at a stranger, holding the door open for someone, sending a quick text to a friend who's going through a tough time.
Precisely. And what's beautiful about these prompts is that they're not just activities, they're starting points for bigger conversations. They encourage a keep exploring mindset, which is so crucial for growth at any age.
You know what else is interesting? As you go through the book, the prompts themselves evolve. Like at the beginning, it's a lot of what's your favorite color?
Yeah.
And then it's like, what is something you want to learn more about?
That's such a great observation. There's a definite progression, isn't there? From simple self-awareness to more complex reflection.
It's almost as if the book itself is mirroring the cognitive development of a kindergartner throughout the year.
Exactly. Starting with basic preferences, then building connections, and eventually formulating their own questions about the world.
It's like scaffolding for curiosity. And isn't that something we want to nurture even as adults? That insatiable desire to learn and grow.
Absolutely. Which brings us to a crucial question. How do we apply these simple yet profound principles to our grown-up lives?
Right, because as much as I'd love to spend my day finger painting and singing along to the wheels on the bus,
Mhm.
I feeling my boss might have some objections.
I hear you, but it's not about reverting back to childhood. It's about tapping into those core qualities that made childhood so magical: curiosity, playfulness, a sense of wonder.
This is less about being a kid again and more about remembering how to think like one.
Exactly. It's about embracing that beginner's mind, that openness to new experiences and perspectives, even in the midst of our routines and responsibilities.
And like, how do we actually do that? It's not like we can just hop on a swing set and like call it a day, right?
You're right, it takes a bit more than that, but it can be as simple as revisiting some of these kindergarten prompts. We've touched on some powerful ones today. Facing our fears, dreaming big, recognizing acts of kindness.
So many good ones. It's like a buffet of self-discovery. Which one are you drawn to? If you had to pick one prompt to revisit today, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I think I'd go with If You Could Fly. Huh, it's such a pure expression of possibility, of breaking free from limitations. You know, as adults, we get so bogged down in the how that we forget to even ask ourselves, what if?
I love that. And you know, it's funny, just hearing you say that makes me realize how much I miss that sense of limitless potential. Like somewhere along the line, we learned to shrink our dreams to fit our perceived reality. What if we flip that script?
Yeah.
What if we let our imaginations run wild first and then explore the how later?
Exactly. It's about giving ourselves permission to dream big, to tap into that childlike sense of wonder where anything feels possible. And
Yeah.
that doesn't mean we have to abandon logic or responsibility. It's about finding a balance, about bringing that sense of playfulness and curiosity to our adult lives.
It's like we've been carrying around these incredible tools all along: imagination, creativity, a sense of
Yeah.
wonder. But somewhere along the line, we forgot how to use them. Or maybe we were told we were too old, too busy, too something to use them anymore.
And what a disservice that is, because these aren't just childish qualities, they're human qualities. And they're essential for navigating the complexities of life with any sense of joy and fulfillment.
So true. It's like we've been talking about the power of these prompts all episode, but the real takeaway is much bigger than that. It's about remembering that our inner child, that playful, curious, imaginative part of ourselves, still holds immense wisdom and potential. And maybe, just maybe, it's time we started listening to it again.
Couldn't have said it better myself. It's been a real pleasure diving into this with you.
Likewise. And for our listeners, here's a little challenge. Pick one prompt, any prompt that resonated with you today, and spend just 5 minutes journaling on it. No judgment, no pressure. Just let your mind wander and see what comes up. You might be surprised by what you discover. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and never stop tapping into that inner child.